Hi, I'm Amber King, and I'm the registrar here at the Museum of Northern Arizona. So I work in the collections department with 5 other colleagues, and that is amazing. The departments are normally not that big, but we are very special, and then we have so many experts on staff. So today what I'd like to talk about a little bit is how collections kind of interfaces with exhibits, and how some of the things we do in collections actually helps out and the things you can see when you come into the museum, since you don't get to visit here very often. So we store everything here on a permanent basis. Our fine arts collection primarily works on paper. This is how we used to store them in these gray boxes here. You can see that everything is stacked neatly, but it's very difficult to get into these boxes and look at anything. So we have been working for the past 4 years with grants from the Southwestern Foundation that's in Arizona to rehouse everything in a better way. So we are going to now be using these. So these are Solinger boxes. You can see that they're very rigid. There's no flexibility. They block, and then they very neatly store everything that's in a mat. So the previous box, you could see that things were in different sizes. So if you tip the box one way or the other, things would shift. When everything is mounted in a nice mat in the same size, nothing moves around, so there's less chance for damage. So I pulled a few examples of some of the work that we've been doing. So you can see everything here is matted. The way things used to be matted as your typical mat is you come in here and you can see by lifting this up that they're using a blind hinge. So this is usually with wheat paste and rice paper. It's a very typical way of mounting something inside a mat, so you can see all the edges. This is great, it's reversible, but if we ever need to do conservation of this piece, it makes it very difficult to gain access to them. Also, if we have a researcher, we have to be in here, we have to be flipping things, all that kind of stuff. This is a Maynard Dixon sketch, by the way. So instead, what we've done is make hinges like this. So these are special hinges that allow us access to the pieces. You can see that both of these lift up like this. I can actually just lift this out and a researcher can look at it, or we can do conservation or take high-res images or whatever we need to do. And in the interim time, it is in a nice set format here, and then with a nice window mat that's cut to size. So all of these pieces are like that. This is a William Henry Holmes watercolor. This is on board. You can see that there's some yellow discoloration going on here. This is just due to age and exposure to light. So this is one that eventually we will seek to get conserved. So a piece like this Allen Hauser, you can see, this one's actually in very good condition. And you can see here that there's very little foxing, maybe a little bit of matte burn on this top edge. This one probably won't need that, but it's very stable and removable. Then we have pieces that start getting a little bit thicker. There's more to them. So those need special kinds of mats, which we call sink mats. And that's what this is here. So the piece itself is on a thicker ed board. So to make sure it's stable in the mount and when it gets put on exhibit, that there's no pressure on the piece, we build up the outside edges of the mat. So it's still very secure in there. You can see that there's no movement. But when you put it up on exhibit, you'll be able to tell that there is no gapping or anything like that. So when you come in and you see our exhibitions that are on display, the watercolors and things like that will have the mats in them to set sizes. So that makes it easier for exhibits. We don't have to keep as much frame stock on hand. So basically what happens is we'll take these over to them, we'll pop them in those frames, and then we'll reuse the frames for every exhibition, which is fantastic. So this is helpful for them and for us. It stabilizes things that may be a little bit unwieldy, like these larger pieces here. This is a very large piece. So you can see that this thing is about 2 feet by 3 feet, so 24 by 36. And this is another one that we actually had to create a sink mount for because it's done on illustration board by the artist. So this artist is Harrison Begay. So things like this, by changing this and seeking funds to do these projects, stabilize our artwork, and also make it easier for you to see things in the gallery.